Afternoon. Today is the 3rd of September, as you can see. Oh, we've got somebody coming in the shop. What are you doing? What are you doing,
Lloyd,
ruining?
And today is Thursday.
Why are you ruining my video?
I thought I'd bring the tweed jacket and the fedora and tip my hat to you, sir.
And it's Mr. Ben Quirk from Planet
Hello.
Auto, wearing the fedora and a tweed jacket and a Back to the Future T-shirt. A more wonderful statement of fashion. I have no idea if I've ever seen before in my life.
Oh, I break the mould. I really do.
Yes, indeed, and we've also got Mr. Coleman, the rubbish mechanic, who has also got an interesting T-shirt on today. Yes, so you've been turning a few heads today, haven't you, sir?
I have, yes, on the Rover.
Yes, indeed. And so here we have the 1998 Rover 620 GSI, which I purchased on Electronic Bay for 320 English pounds. As you can see, we've got rather a few dents, and we've got. I'll a second. We've got a dubious kind of boot lid shut. Look, you can kind of see here we've got gaps. We have, however, got rid of the extra spare wheel. You can see the boot is now empty of extra spare wheels. There are window regulators there. I wonder why that is. It's because the driver's window doesn't work. But Mr. Coleman has been servicing the car today, and he's fitted a new cam cover gasket, so the oil leak has stopped.
Yes, it has. It's
Which-
stopped hemorrhaging oil.
Which is pretty good, because we're going to be needing the engine to run very well for the challenge we've got coming up. So the reason we've got these two finely dressed gentlemen here today is because, we've got a Renault 11 with us as well. There's not many of these actually left in the country. This is a 1987 Renault 11 1.4 GTL, which goes by the name of Margot.
It does. That's Margot.
Yes, it is Margot.
Margot.
And Mr. Coleman actually has had this car for quite some time already. It's had quite a few months. But the reason we bought these cars, and Margot, I think externally you'll agree, is in much better condition than the Rover. And Mr. Coleman's been working to make this car look almost show-worthy. But look at this engine bay. That is amazing. Incredible condition. New water pump, because that seized on the side of a road a couple of weeks ago.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. That's seized on the side of the road. And we have, various parts that have been serviced. Mr. Coleman, can I ask you how much you paid for your fine example of French history?
325 sterling.
325 of your English pounds. Yes, indeed. And you have a sunroof too, a nice private sunroof.
Yes.
You don't have very much apart from that, do you? You don't have ABS, you don't have a rev counter, you don't have electric windows.
I wouldn't want that anyway.
No, of course, you wouldn't want any of that stuff. We're going to be taking these fine vehicles and other ones as well that Mr. Quirk has not yet purchased to the Santa Pod Raceway next month, where she'll be doing the challenge, the £500 birthday challenge. Whereby, actually something I've done myself for a number of years, you buy and not modify exactly, but you don't modify exactly, but you kind of fettle the car for less than £500. You take it to Santa Pod and you race it at the Run What You Brung challenge over a quarter mile, and you see who gets the best time.
That means I do need to try and find a car, doesn't it?
You do need a car, sir, otherwise you'll be running.
Yeah,
which
running.
Which you won't.
I won't win.
You won't do
Especially
too
not
well.
with the 2 litre.
Yes, the 2 litre generating a mighty 131 horsepower.
Yeah.
So you have to get there under your own steam. You have to get back under your own steam, and you have to also sell the car for a profit at the end.
With an MOT.
You must have an MOT during the time. You must have done less than 100,000 miles. You can't buy a car that's been knowingly scrapped or written off or stolen. You must have some service history, and you get points for Rovers and Alfa Romeos, and you lose points for Renaults, Peugeots, Citroens and Fiats.
Where do Jap cars come in now? Or is that
That's just neutral.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so that is neutral, sir.
So if I manage to buy myself a Ferrari, I'm all good.
You could buy a Ferrari, yes. But the
Nissan Laurel.
Nissan Laurel, yes, indeed, anything like that.
Is that the one that looked like a Stanza?
No, it's a big Bluebird with a 2.4 straight six engine with Hitachi carburetors.
I don't think I've seen one of those.
They're horrible.
So the thing is, though, most importantly of all, you cannot buy a diesel because we won't be able to talk
Well,
about
that's
it.
What I was going to get was just a Citroen Zara.
You
You know, the 2-litre
Yeah.
diesel, I'd whoop everybody.
Yeah, but you can't because we won't be able to talk about it on the channel. You
know.
know what the rules are, sir.
No, but I've experienced one and I want one, but...
I know you've had plenty of them, haven't you, sir? You've had a few. Mr. Seabrook almost bought one too, didn't
Oh,
he?
why not?
Yeah, he
They're a
almost bought
great
one.
car.
Yes. So Mr. Seabrook bought his City Rover, and I bought this one. They are
this
actually
is a Rover, and it
they're
can
the
live in
same
city.
colour. They're just dark blue colour, which is very nice actually. But I of course have my lovely light grey interior, which is leather. He obviously does not. So from that point of view alone, I have done better than Mr. Seabrook, although I did pay more money. And as you can see, we have 2 airbags as well, which will be handy. Nice
Why are you
wood.
planning on crashing, Joseph?
I'm not planning on crashing at all.
Good.
Not planning. Safety's not part of a challenge. Although we are doing an economy run, which I'm not entirely confident because I've got a 2-litre engine and an automatic gearbox.
We have Leadfoot James.
We have
Woodward,
Mr.
Ben.
Coleman, who I think has modified his car slightly for the challenge. Of course, within the budget, it's still within £500.
Yes.
We have parts from a Jaguar E-Type,
Yes.
and we also have carburetor jets from a Sierra.
From a 2-litre Sierra.
Oh,
Yes,
I never knew that.
Yes, indeed.
My word.
So, you know, slight fettling is...
So economy will be out of the window with jets off a Sierra, won't it?
Well, you know, it's quite a challenge. As I said, I've done this before myself quite a lot of times. I've taken a Mazda 626 2-litre GSI, a Proton 1.3 MPI, a Rover 416 SLI automatic, and a Rover 25 2 Santa Pod. The Proton didn't compete, but the rest of the cars did, and the Mazda did 14 runs in a day. And the quickest time was around 18 seconds, I think, and the top speed was 76 miles an hour. The reason I tend to buy automatic cars is because I don't want the clutch to fail, which is probably a good idea not
What about
to.
the auto box failing?
This is a Honda automatic gearbox, so I think we're going to be
I
okay.
basically swore then. It's Honda.
Yes.
It's bulletproof.
We also have, I think, other channels joining us for this wonderful event, and we'll be staying locally. There's 2 particular hotels. We just have to decide which one we're going to be staying at. It's not an open challenge, by the way. You can't just, you know, submit your car and say come along. It's not an open challenge. Obviously, we will be telling you what the exact date is a little bit later on, and then later in November we're going to be having a social event, which will be in the Midlands. It's a joint Planet Auto, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, Retro Mechanics social. Again, I possibly have a challenge might join us as well, which again will be up in the Midlands somewhere. We'll let you know the details of that. So lots of exciting things going on, gents.
Be interesting to see what you guys think of these cars and who you think will win, because we're interested to see who you're going to hedge your bets with. I mean, yeah, okay, I'm a bit of an unmeasured quantity at the moment. The fact I don't have a car.
You don't have one,
if
sir.
you have a decision that I think, you know, the car that I should buy, please comment below.
Yeah, you comment below. And there's Ben's already done a live video of both these cars on his channel. Mr. Coleman, when he fitted the cam cover gasket, there's an entire instructional video on Retro Mechanic channel on how to fit a cam cover gasket to a Rover 620 GSI.
It's not hard.
It's quite easy. It's a little bit complicated in places, but it's not too bad.
Hard.
Yeah.
And,
Makes a world of difference though, because it doesn't pump oil out all over the bonnet.
It does, because the oil was gushing out when I drove back from Portsmouth on Sunday. So anyway, I think we'll draw that to a close now, because we don't want to sort of say too much,
No.
because we've got plenty more stuff coming up on these fine sub £500 vehicles. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more automotive hijinks and more fashion faux pas. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below. I'll just zoom in again on the lovely dent I've got in the rear door, and we once again see the grey leather interior with plenty of wood. you know, I don't just source very cheap cars. I do source proper cars with proper prices for people. And so please visit my website at www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. If we just source a car for you, it doesn't have to be a Rover or a Renault. It can be most things. And I've also
Thank
got
you,
Facebook.
Joseph Lloyd, and thank you for
No,
joining me today.
not yet, sir. And also, please visit my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Thank you ever so much indeed for watching. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, gentlemen.